حياكم الله. أقدم لكم ما تعلمته من حضوري لمحاضرة البروفيسور ميكيليف من جامعة سوينبورن بأستراليا، والمحاضرة كانت حول البحث العلمي والنشر وتأطير طلبة الدكتوراه، ولو أن الملتقى كان حول النشر في مجلتي نيتشر وساينس. المحاضرة جرت هنا في الجزائر وباللغة الإنجليزية، لهذا سأحاول أن تكون مداخلتي باللغة الإنجليزية. والبروفيسور ميخيليف هو من بين أحسن 5 باحثين في جامعته بأستراليا، وهو عضو هيئة تحرير في العديد من المجلات المحكمة في الكيوان مثل الإتروازو، هو تخصصه الإلكترونيك دو بويسانس باور إلكترونيكس، وهو عضو ورئيس هيئة تحرير في مجلات مثل Open Journal of Industrial Electronics, Renewable Power Generation, Journal of Power Electronics وغيرها من المجلات. وهو أستاذ متميز في كلية العلوم والحاسوب وتقنيات الهندسة، وأيضا أستاذ فخري في قسم الهندسة الكهربائية بمالايا في ماليزيا. وتم إدراج البروفيسور ميكيليف من قبل تومسون رويترز كأحسن 1% من الباحثين في العالم من طرف تومسون رويترز. كلاريفيت سابقا هو أفضل، قلت 1% الأكثر استشهادا في العالم في الباحثين في الهندسة، ويشارك بنشاطات في الاستشارات الصناعية للشركات الكبرى في مشاريع إلكترونيات الطاقة والطاقة المتجددة وكفاءة الطاقة. فهو حقا عالم، أوجه له الشكر والتقدير، بارك الله فيه وفي علمه، وبمثله تفتخر الجزائر. إذن ماذا تعلمت من حضوري لمحاضرته؟ كما قلت جرت هنا في الجزائر وباللغة الإنجليزية، لهذا سأحاول أن تكون مداخلتي باللغة الإنجليزية. So what I learned from the attendance the lecture of Professor Mikhailif from Swinburne University in Melbourne in Australia. His lecture was about scientific research, publication and training doctoral students and supervising. Although the forum was about publication in Nature and science journals, the lecture took place here in Algeria and in English language. Professor Mikhailif is among the 5 best researcher professors at his university in Australia, and his distinguished professor in College of Science, Computer and Engineering in Swinburne in Melbourne in Australia, and emeritus professor in Department of Electrical Engineering in Malaysia, so in Malaya University. He has author and co-author of more than 500 publications in academic journal in Q1, and he has more than 40,000 citations. So he is really scientist, and he is supervisor of more than 70 PhD students under his supervising. So he is the editor board of several journals, so such IEEE, so Transaction of Power Electronics, Open Journal and of Industrial Electronics, Renewable Power Generation, Journal of Power Electronics, and International Journal of Circuit Theory and Applications. So Professor Mikhailif is listed by Thomson Reuters, Web of Science, Clarivate now, so as one of the world's most cited engineering research, 1% in the world of engineering researchers. He is actively involved in industry consulting for major companies in power electronics and renewable energy projects. His research interested including power conversion technology, control of power converts renewable energy, and like this. This is the area of this professor. So may Allah God bless him and his knowledge. So Algeria is proud of him, and may Allah God rewards him well. So the question is, what did I learn from attending this lecture? Which I said it was done here in Algeria and in English language. So first of all, what caught my attention was his patriotism and his love for Algeria. So when he said that we live abroad doesn't mean that we don't not love Algeria. What motivated for him to come and take 23 hours flight in the sky to come here in Algeria is love of Algeria. I clapped my hands at him. He deserves that. So Professor Mikhailiev said, first of all, you must learn English, the English language. This is very important for researcher, for publication, for scientists. Because language of science, as you know, is English. So English or your native language. He said, you should get intensive courses. Language is very, very important. It's crucial. That's crucial to learn English. But you have to know one thing. What's the language of science? English, of course. Either your native language or English, there is nothing else. The language of science is either your native English. We call it mother tongue, lisan of English or English. So Japanese, they use their native language. Chinese, they use their native language, have used their native language. Korean have used native language and they have achieved. So we don't have any other options. Either we have to master the language of science. Even he is also graduate here in Algeria, in Algerian system. He studied as we study in primarily school in Arabic, and then inevitability of English language after abroad. So the university in the university study is in French language and then English, and emphasizes the necessity and of English language. There is nothing else. So our problem is always on mastering the language, not mastering the science. You understand? He said that this is very big problem in our education system, because we put our children in position they are always training to capture the language, not the content of subjects. And this has to be addressed either then you need to train the study from primary school to master the French. He didn't tell us for French, but this is how you should be done. You want to be in Arabic, then you do, because what's happening. And during in education system, we produce handicap taken graduated with master LMD. Ask him to write a letter in English, they cannot. Ask him to write a letter in French language, they cannot. He said he cannot write it. So ask him to write it even in Arabic language, not write it. He cannot write it. So this is the thing. He said, you are a professor like me. There is a big difference in fact. So I am not going to give you a lecture, but he said this is the fact. He gave us a good lecture. So he said, I am going to share you my experience, and I will bring what I have learned outside. Maybe it can be beneficial for you, and it's really beneficial. Whatever, it's sharing of experiences. So that's what we are supposed to be when we went overside, or it's not easy. So take the plane and get to Algeria. It's a lot of effort. You have to put a lot of efforts when he works from Algeria. That's what they have been teaching. You have to learn. He said you have to learn. Either you do or you die. This is experience very important. This is crucial. You do or you die. So that's the option. You have nothing other options. So in Algeria, yes, you can do anything, but you still live. But outside, either you do or you die. No other options. Especially if you have an objective. If you have an objective, because immigration, there are different types of immigration. If you have an immigration for an objective to be better person, to improve, to contribute at the lead of the society, not at the back of the lead of the leader of the society, not the back of the society. So you need to train yourself, and the same thing now in Algeria. There is nothing wrong. So go and take intensive courses. Go and take intensive courses to improve your language, because there is only the way how you can publish and present your work in international level. So that's it. It's must see, like someone, if you do want to go to pray, you must have ablution, wudu. Before pray, you should have ablution. Before you publish, you should have the language. You cannot write we don't this language. So you have to go and learn. That's the other advice of Professor Mikhailiev, and that's very, very important. You can only, as you know, Algerian people, we know only complain, just complain. So you should learn, but we have to train ourselves. We have to build the cap. We have to build the cap. That's only this option. So you know, the ministry or university does not provide it. It should. You should yourself take the intensive and initiative and do it. This is the option. Maybe he don't know that now with our ministry and our university do this and teach language in university, in English language, and also in primary school. This is about language. So Professor Mikhailiev comes from Melbourne, from Australia, very, very far away, about 18,500 kilometers, so 23 hours only on the flight, on the sky. So that's very, very far to come from Australia. However, with technology, it's not very, very far, so it's not very, very far anymore. And he knows what is good, where he can improve, where he can contribute. We Algerian people, he said, we Algerian people, especially the one abroad, when he went out from Algeria, not because he didn't like Algeria, he comes here to benefit from what he has learned abroad. So unfortunately, he learned, as he said, in hard way, but they want to learn and also to succeed. And that's very, very important. That's crucial. If we see our fellow Algerian researchers succeed, we will be very, very happy, very proud of them. So he said in Australia, what's known about the method is called Education State of Australia. The Education State means the best university in Australia, in Melbourne. They have around 20 universities, including university in Melbourne, one of the top 30 in the world, top 30 university in the world. They make a lot of money from the education system. They spend about $60 billion per year for from education. It's a business, so they invested a lot of money to improve it. So because that's why incomes in these countries can be from different sources, not like us here in Algeria. We depend on oil and gas, but this one of the investment that we should do. What's the strategy of the country? We should do it. So he spoke and talked a lot about the journals and his area of experience. He said, my area of work, I'm working in energy and renewable, especially electronic de puissance, power electronics. So that's his niche area. So that's my when he comes to the journal selection, before are we going to go to nature and science journals directly, we should go to the Q1 journal, the high impact, or from the top of to the down. So if you don't know how to run, you have to crawl. That's very important. He said, if you don't know how to run, you have to crawl. If you don't know how to crawl, you have you stand up. So then we started to stand, and then we walk and fall, crawl. We crawl, right, and then we start to stand and walk, and then fall and walk, fall and walk, and then walk well, and then we can running. So someone to run, you can still stand. This is the human being nature. This is the nature, you know. This is the power that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creator creates us with this way and this nature. We have to learn step by step. If you can't publish in Q1 journal, when you can't go to the nature, you cannot go to nature and science. This is special and very hard to publish. There are people in MIT and Harvard University, they don't publish in nature and science. So, but his philosophy, and maybe as he said, it's my experience. It can be useful and beneficial for us, and in fact really beneficial and useful for us, and motivate the researcher, and that is the philosophy. He explained, he said, I started going this research in 1995 or 1996. So what he did in his area of work, so he said, what I did, look into who are the best in the world. That is very important. Who are the best in the world in my area of niche of science of power electronics. So he said, I identified 5 people, identified Professor, if I remember, Professor Akasi from Tokyo Institute, Japan, and someone identified Perry Williams in MIT, and Professor Tim Green in Imperial College. So he identified 5 best researchers in the world. So you compare yourself with the best one in the world, not your colleagues or other person. So that's very important. So he said that in 1986, when I started research, he said, I compare and I research the best one in my area in the world. So in Q1, there is no Q1 à l'époque during this time. During that time, there was no Q1, Q2. He didn't know where is the Q1. This is the best strategy. You research the best one in your area. So you should follow the key people in your area of expertise. So where they people publish, you publish. They jump to the river, jump to the river, follow them. So this is the best way. This is his strategy. I think it's very, very beneficial. So there is no other options, because your value is compared to your peers, مع أقرانك. So I can't compare myself with someone is not low level, because so I compare with myself with this person. Even I achieve 15%, that's good, that's okay, I am okay. If I compare with someone low, I am better than what? Actually, you are better than nothing. You are better than nothing. So this is, he said, I think you are professor and you should speak this language. So because I am not going to see the same way, he said to the PhD students before, because he has a lecture for PhD students, and after that lecture for us as supervising and researcher, young researcher. So this is the way. You are professor and we are professor, and there is a big difference in fact between us. So we should benchmark ourselves with the top people. Benchmark it means معيار نفسنا مع the best, مع أحسن in our area of expertise, and don't care the person from my all helps out, but he is not going through this guy, not this guy, not that guy, not that one. He is good. He said, but my aim is to follow this. Even I achieve this percent, I am okay, I am good, I accept that. Then I am good. So this is the strategy. There is nothing else. So you should put in your area. You should identify the lab. For example, there is lab in this. Unfortunately, most of this lab, as he said, in USA, in America, and in UK, in United Kingdom. That's in English speaking. So you identify this lab of these people, and then you follow. That's your student. Because before we publish, what do you have to do? That's a crucial question. That's very important. What do you have to do before you publish? The first step before you publish or doing research, you have to read. You have to read. You can't be a good publisher or a good writer if you don't read. You have to read, because when you read, you will get the vocabulary with privilege. The structure, how to write, becomes physical for you. What you do, what you know to do. So this is the first step, and he has to tell us this. He was very frank. He was very frank to say it. If you are professor and you don't read, you are going to die. That's very important. If you don't read, you will die. Die scientifically. So you have to read more than your students. If your students can read one paper, you have to read 2 to 10 papers. So because you have to engage with him in discussion, and you speak with him about this, and that is what we have to do, because if you do read, you are going to know what's happening in the world, in your area, what's the publication, what's the new, so the actuality, the novelty, what's the people publishing the moment so your students start reading more than you are out of scope already, because you will lose respect. Does he respect you? No. Maybe if he is a nice person, he will not come and see, because he doesn't want to embrace you. He wants to avoid you. Oh, okay, just sign, keeping signing. That's not the job of supervising. or professor. So he said, I am sorry to say that, but this is a fact. He said, I am going to say it very frankly, and this fact. So it's not to criticize you, but he said that is a fact. So to show the way outside, that's how it works. Outside, it works like this. So they do. There is no shortcuts in the science. There is no shortcuts in the science. We will not lead to anywhere. And so I think that's very, very important. That's crucial. So in his area of expertise, for example, when he put the journal hundreds of jobs, which one I would say for him, I mean, it's very simple. I will look into where professor in his area, he said Adasi, if I remember, published or follow him. Follow what he doing to understand what you are doing. Next up, go to the conference where he attends. Conference, go there. Can be a good place to meet these people, these experts. Not the conference in Istanbul or in Dubai or in Saudi Arabia or Tunisia. There are not conferences. These are bushes. So sorry to say that it's a business. It's money making. So it's a tourist. So you are, as professor, you should go to the conference, the top conference that your leaders in the area attend, because that's where you are going to live. That's where you are going to go. I know the first time maybe you just go and see just attend. Second time you walk some words and then story, because they are like you also saying the story that you can learn, and then how that's you can collaborate. So the top journal, you should participate in the top journal. And I asked him in the break coffee, where can I found the top journal? He said in USA, and that's true, I know it. So in USA and in United Kingdom, someone in Germany or maybe in Japan, but most of them in USA, the top journal, not tourist journal. So that's very, very useful tool for network working. So that's it. Whatever they publish in is good, you will never be not good. So because these people are the top number one in his area, in their area. So I think that's very, very clear and very important. So I know Algerian situation is different than outside. I understand. You know, we should be able to engage in discussion to get to us. We have compare what we have to know. We can compare what he have. They have facilities, money, labs. They have many things, not like us. But you can't compare. But when you read, when they see you are reading, when you read actuality. What you want to look for, you are looking for ideas, you are looking for a problem statement. So when you are reading these people work, so when you develop the idea and solve the problem, actually you are developing the idea from the top notch, and then you have to do it's at your level. For example, we don't have the big facilities, so we will skim down. Maybe they do the experimental, I will do the simulation. So what matters is the idea, the problem that we are trying to solve the problem. Maybe we don't have the facilities to do it, but the idea is that the problem that I'm working on in this problem of importance. Its current problem, it's very important. What you go in the top is number one in his area. Now it's a hot area. They call them hot areas. So that's it how we do it. So that's why I say even they are here, even if you do up here, you are still good because you are comparing with the number one in the world. But you compare with people maybe in next say Morocco or Tunisia, you are top of them. That's how it works. You can't publish in the same journal that they publish in. You should be able to publish. He talked about it, how to select the journals. That's very important because Nature and Science, it's top number one, and it depends the field. There are some area or on some fields possible to publish in Nature and Science, like chemistry, like medical, for example, but for electrical engineering, possible. There is no civil engineering. It's not. You are not going to publish it in mechanical engineering, yeah, but there are some specific area which are possible to publish, not easy, but possible to publish. So in medical, in medicine, in chemistry, in biochemistry. So, but the most important, you should publish in where the top people publish in your area. Read. This is the first step. How to read efficiently. Reading. He shared with us his experience. It's not easy to learn how to read. That's very important. So he said, I started reading the first paper. You know how long it's been? It's been 1 week. 1 week reading only one paper. Repeat and repeat. Don't understand. Look into the dictionary. Look into this. Ask my friend. What does this mean? This I don't understand. I don't know. 1 week to read only one paper, 8 pages only. So then it will improve throughout the time, throughout the practice. Now how long he can read the paper? Only 15 minutes. He said, because he did read everything in the paper. He knows what to read. He knows what's this looking for it. That's the paper, but he will not read to this stage. He doesn't start from zero, because that's how you progress. Because later, now he reads the title, the abstract, and then directly jump to the results. He would see the results first, because the literature, he knows it. So he knows what he is talking about, because he read this before. So that's very important to improve reading. So you should practice more and more. And what's the best time to read? He asked this question. What's the best time? For him, he said, you should wake up early. You should wake up early. As proverb says, the early bird catches the worm. العصفور المبكر يلتقط الدودة إن صح تعبير. That's the best time. He said after prayer al-Fajr, he started to work. Children are still sleeping. Your wife or your husband is still sleeping. So everything is quiet. In the house, that's the best time to read, to write your paper, to work. You should choose the time. You can read at 10 o'clock, at 11 o'clock. You cannot read. There is a noisy noise level. You have to do in this time at Fajr in the morning early. When you want to read, you have to do yourself. There is a specific time to read. So you follow them by first one reading their paper. After that, you plan to meet them in a conference. For example, when they attend, you go. The first one in your area is invited speaker in this conference. You go, you meet him. So the university start providing some funding. He said, I used my own money to pay for that, because this is an investment for him. He said, this is investment for me. This is investment you have to invest. That's what I say just now. You have to invest money in learning English and to participate in the conference. Yes, the monthly does not provide it, but now our university provide to learn English for professor, for student, for everyone. So that's very important. That's good things now in our universities. I prefer to walk. He said, I prefer to walk, not to buy a car and attend the conference, because I know if I attend the conference, I will get a good idea. And when I get a good idea, I got project and I got the money, and then I buy what I want. That's the formula. That's his strategy, and it's very important. This a good strategy. That's the work you have to invest it in what you believe is true. The online conference is good. He said the online conference is good, but it's not better than physical. Then you meet someone physical, because when you meet these people, you will tell them what I have read this work, and he has read this work. Then you say, I am also going this work, and then later after the conference in the break, and send him an email and say him your work, send an email. He has with this nice meeting in the conference, and we hope to do this. What do you think about this? Propose a collaboration. Can we collaborate? We have done this work. Can we do together this work? Please send me your comments for this work, your suggestions for this work, and then later can I visit your lab? And that's how it works. That's how it works, and this is nothing else. This is very important. I learned it from Professor Mikhailiev. He gives us one of his personal experience with one of his students, PhD students. He had 70 students in PhD supervising, so he has a long experience. When they come, he paid the students in Austria salary. They pay about $2,500. It looks big, but in Australia it's not very big. He said rent a house in Australia is about $1,500, so that's not a very big salary. So he gives him 2 weeks to his student, 2 weeks, to read the literature. They discuss the topic, and then in 2 weeks he asked him to give a lecture. The literature. Then we meet, discuss this idea. I want to do this. This person has done this. This person has done that. So this person has this, and this. And then they discuss it from 1 hour and a half, and then he looked into the conference. He said one of the name repeated. He said, what's this? Show me. Who is this? You can show me, download this paper. He showed him the paper, and then he worked they have done, and that's not correct. They work on the predictive control of converts, if I remember. So when he read the work, he knows. He said, I will never reach this level. Only after 10 years of experience, because I am just starting now. So this area is emerging, but they have started much early. So for him to reach that level, it's easy. It takes maybe 10 years of experience. So he did. He went to his house and he looked at that guy. He talked to him, and his name, if I remember, Rodriguez. Rodri. So you can with him. He is from Chile. He said hi, send him an email, has sent a paper. This paper is very interesting for him, this, and this. He has just started working of this area with your mind discussion or potential collaboration the next day. So that's a good idea, a good response for researcher. Researchers will reply immediately. That doesn't take 1 week, 2 weeks, even this good indicator for him, for the research. The next day he replied, nice receiving your email, I will be happy to do this and this. So he proposed, could provide the student, just provide you, then start working. They published 6 papers in Q1 just online. They work online. The professor have to do it. Does the professor have to do this? Because students have no credibility, So the student is new, but they don't know who is the student, But professor has the title, has the status, that should be respect. So after the thesis, the student submits their thesis and finish it. I thought finish, and then he sent him an email. He said, do you have another student? You want to work with him. So they have another student. He said, can you join me to work together? And they started with other one. So you have to know, he said, I didn't meet him for 5 years. We never meet physically, meet him only last year after COVID. So that's how it works. That's very beneficial. I think we can collaborate via email, via Zoom meeting, webinar, and that's it. Online, they produce 6 papers or 5. They never meet each other physically. It's the trust that exists between them. So that's how it works. Now they are working together, they collaborate, they publish. He invites him, he said I invite him, he invites me. That's it, how it works. So he is the number 1 in his area. He works with the number 1 is his area. Predictive control, he is number 1 in the world. So for him, he will never, but also he has something to offer. Okay, that's very important. He can't go zero. Nothing in his pocket. You cannot. He cannot accept you. So he needs his experience, and the other one he needs his expertise. So then they put them together and they work. That's how it works. All right, and for people. Professor Mkhalif is an editor of 5 journals, as I said before. One of them is Impact Factor 15 or 16, almost 16 now. The journal is Renewable and Sustainable Energy Reviewers, if I remember. So he has one of the editor. He said we started from 4 impact factor. Now there is 16 impact factor, and they expect this to go around 20 impact factor. So that's very, very good work. So what happened when author submit the article, and you have to do what? The article, of course, is the result of good work. There must be good work has done. So the paper comes, it's not the other way at all. So they have to select a good topic. You know how what's the hot topic, hot area, it calls like this, hot topic or host area. You know what's hot topics, because sometimes we don't research and we do know. What's why we can't publish in Q1. Select the topic, we call them hot topics or hot area. You know, for example, in Elsevier they have this we call hot topics or hot area based on what they publish papers. In certain area they measure by how many downloads. He is not talking about citation, it's long term. You know, he was talking about downloads, only downloads. Yes, so he was citation, it's long term. You know, he was talking about downloads, and after that, after 6 months, we can work about citation. So first of all, we speak about downloads, because zero citation, if there is no download, there is zero citation, of course. So how we are going to see it? So measure it by the number of downloads in first 6 months in different area. So they will guarantee, we call them hot topics. This topic is usually easy to publish. For example, COVID-19, he gives us an example. He published in COVID-19 this period. So one of the paper, or read your paper and publish in Q1, that means this is a good opportunity for him to publish the paper entitled computer science or energy renewable during COVID. So it was very interesting, a hot topic area. It was almost 1,000 citation now, one paper with 1,000 citations. So you know, in your area you should be like scanning analysis what's happening. You know, this one, this new topic, this is a new area, doesn't matter before. You know, for example, computer science, you can start studying what you call use of internet. For example, during COVID, what's impact of internet, and what's the impact of the on the health. For example, people from medicine. So it was a top hot area. So he told this. You cannot use it now because there is no COVID now. So this is easy to publish, because what I noticed from Algerian research, they publish in very traditional. Sometimes we have done 20 and 30 years ago. You know, something done 30 years ago, you are competing with the people, and then done. It's a long time. You have to do something. You have to look for something new, emerging. You know what emerging? This is, you publish. For example, you cannot publish on robotic. Could you publish on robotic? It's impossible, because the application and the industry is very, very far. So we never able to publish paper on robotic. Because industry is far away. You know what we are going to do in the robotic. They have a design robotic who can fly it. So it's impossible. So can you publish on control theory, for example? Impossible, because you have to come up with a new theory. You cannot. So but you can apply control into some area, application robotic in medical, like this, it's possible. So this is the topic, you know, very important, that's crucial. And as he said, you are a professor, you should be able to know in your area of expertise what are the topic. He called hot topic. So what else? What's the trend? You should research what's the trend, and publication will be much easy because the topic is still on purpose. Okay, so he said also that we have selected the topic of your research, and then we do good work, and then you prepare a paper and submit. Then you submit your paper. Now this is previously. Now they have this something in the middle called scanning. Before it's 15% of the paper percentage of the papers as in editor journal. He never see the paper because 15 of the papers submitted. He has never seen why his secretary rejected directly. So this is the role of the editor. So rejected maybe by the computer, rejected for different reasons. So there are different scanning area. One, like for example, 20% of similarity. We said index similarity. And plagiarism. We cannot speak about plagiarism. Plagiarism is other things. It's forbidden. Plagiarism, it means copy paste. But we talk about similarity, index similarity, because computer is they use software. Anti-plagia, it means the computer is stupid. You just compare word to word, but if you take an idea and you are smart how to write it, then it's plug, but it's not similarity. So the computer, is it okay? This number one. Number two, for example, the language, poor language. They reject the paper for similarity index and also for poor language. The language is too poor. What's it? Means that doesn't understand what's writing. We cannot understand. Now, maybe there is a mistake. Mistake is okay, that's okay. But we cannot accept, but we cannot understand the idea. We cannot understand the work, how we are going to evaluate it. So this is number two. And number three, out of scope. Out of scope is also cause for rejected. This when the scope. How are we gonna done? How they know this paper is out of scope? They discover the journal. He works by keywords, but he can't put the keywords that are related to the journal, and the content is different. Scope preferences, so is very important also. Which references you use, scope preferences or scope keywords. That's very important. That's good indicator. The scope preferences that you used in your paper. There is one section called scope of the journal, but sometimes when you read, you find that your people actually meet, then you submit, then you are out of scope, right? You did as in he said as in editor journal, editor of journal, many journals in fact. Out of scope, that's good in important question. This is this is important. This is crucial. Very big question and problem for writer and authors. So when they see scope one of the way, how they measure it, because they have to measure. If you are submitting to the journal, you should at least have 20% of reference from the journal for the citation. So the rules of the game, that's it. You should put 20% of the reference from the journal, from references of the journals. So it's very good indicator. So could be something there why you are submit to my journal. So this is the indicator. What editors see the root is what 20% of references should be from the journal. If you have around 20%, If you had around less than, they may be rejected. So about 3 or 4 references. Because this kind of question, but when we see the differences, not you write your article, finish it, then the references in the bottom, you write the article. You finish everything. Some student works like this. So finish and I focus in the journal and then add the references and then look at for brackets. So become 1 before 1, then become 1 and 2. Look at this way. So that's not good, but you should be discussed in the introduction. When you see the reference, you should discuss in the introduction, and you discuss also in the results after the results. So you should be critically analyzes in the introduction, and after that the results, because they check the references. So and then first of all, so actually it's the first paragraph which is very general, like some people said, or some author, renewable energy is increasing in all world, that I put all the references there. So this is general. It's not like this. You are discussing what is presented. So he has done this and this. However, he did this because sometimes his student they submit the paper and then reject it. Then he asked him, okay, we submit to another journal. What he do? He knows the rules because you need to teach your student. You know it, how to teach. You tell them, so they know the rules. They put the references. Where do discuss? You should know where do you discuss. Show me where is the reference. We have to discuss in the introduction and results. You will see if the order are seated in the references and discuss. So this is in about references. What else? If I remember, the references are from the top scientists. That's very important. You should cited references are from the top scientists, not any references. You cannot use or cited references in blacklist or predictor's list or editor. That's very, very important. So you use or you cited the top scientist references. So you know you are going referring this work. So this is give me also feeling that we are doing a good work, because what you are talking about, what we are talking and discuss, because you have to remember when you write the introduction, what do? We critically analyzes the results. So we told this person they have done this, they have achieved this, they didn't do this, they achieved this right, then we compare with them again. So your results is compared with another work. So this is for the quality of the work should be good. So this is one indicator, one very important indicator that we use to reject out of school. And also sometimes even you put the references, you discuss it in the introduction, and it's already related, and you put the real references, it's rejected. Why? Sometimes, let me tell you what Professor Mikhailov said. Very important point. What makes it easy, sometimes they reject it. So to improve, the editor works to improve the impact factor of his journal. That's a fact. He said it. He was editor of 5 journals. So he said he has to show them during my leadership. This is what happened. That's in fact, this is real. This is the politic of research. You can say what do you want, but this is a fact. He has to show that during very easy the impact factor, which is equal x over y. So x is the number of citation, and y is the number of paper we publish it. So as an editor, he play to the y, because so he cannot control the number of citation. Okay, you cannot tell the authors cite my journal, so we cannot play about the x, so they play about the y. So right, and you cannot ask people to cite your paper, right? So out of your control. This is out of your control. So they only thinking you can control why the number of paper you're published. So if you use why more citation impact increase, you have to understand. This is the basic thing. It's x over y. You cannot control x, so you control only y. Okay, so they limit the number of papers to increase the impact factor. So that's what happens. So sometimes when your paper is accepted, they say you add references from the journal, but in fact that's not a good journal. He told you fellow now without citing what, so that's not a good journal. The author had to decide to add reference on it. And just remind me, he told us a story about an editor. So what we have done about this, why they reject your paper because out of scope, and they have seen a paper published same like yours, but you submit it out of scope also. Why it's not out of scope? Why they rejected? You have done the critic review, you have added the reference, you have, but still what we done. We have, he said, as an editor, we have the paper based on the focus area of the journal. There are a few areas, not only one. With there, for example, in his area, which renewables. He said we have papers on different area. So we have papers on photo, we have papers in energy, we have papers in integration, in power energy. So we analyze it. So, for example, I will analyze papers on wind which published 2 years ago and not attract a lot of citation. That's very, very important. Out of scope, not it means that you are not in the subject or you didn't select the good journal. It means your work, even in the area, even on the niche of area, it cannot be accepted because it cannot attract citation. I mean, that not attract is not very interesting. This is not no citation. So after 2 years no citation, it means out of school. This is for the editor of journal. Else it comes very good work which would attract, because there is no point of publishing sometimes which does not attract people, because the measure value of the paper is measured by the number of citation it receives. So if I publish something and not on read, seem like we have a newspaper. You write a newspaper, no one buys. So you print again, you print tomorrow? No, never. You cannot. That's how it works. If we publish some things and the readers are not interesting, so this area it's out of scope. We reduce the number of paper, and they reduce the number of paper in that area specifically. So there is a strategy behind So we had to see, we have to know it. So he told us the secret, what they do as an editor. So that's how they do it. And this is nothing else. He is the editor board of 5 or 6 journal. So that's how they do, and he does. Also, they analyze actually. There is people are publishing the one who will tell you out of scope in the editor, not other person. Okay, so the editor in chief told you or reject your paper or said this is out of scope, not the associate editor or the guest editor or the secretary or nothing, no person, no other person. So you are not go my suggestion if another journal, so you can submit to other journal if it's out of scope the decision of the editor on share. Editor cannot give, editor guest I mean, cannot give your paper to the reviewer if it's out of scope or there is similarity more than 20%. So he said we have like 2 or 3 editor, okay, they will be a reviewer. So you have 3 level already inside the system and body in paid. He did it free. That's very important. Free. No, we cannot. We are not obliged to pay. So. So what? That's only. He always comes it later. Why? Actually, the system. You know why? That's the top journal. It works like this. The passion and it's a part of your responsibility as scientists to do it. He said that that's very important. And there are people who don't it for us become before that. And this is your turn to do it. His turn to do it, and next maybe this is our turn to do it next time maybe. So that's very important. You cannot pay for the journal. So the basic rules at, for example, MDPE, this journal is with the charge, with the fees, so that's not good to pay. So you have about $1,000 to get after the review. I don't know, I don't want to talk about this. I am not commenting on the way how they do it, but wherever there is a money, there is a potential of corruption. That's very important. He said where there is a money, there is a potential of corruption. Even in USA, in Algeria, in Saudi Arabia, everywhere in any place where there is money, there is potential of corruption. So you paid for to publish your paper. And sometimes, for example, this journal have an open access because sometimes journals have two. You know, they have subscription and popular open access. So an editor, they will give him as an editor. They give him paper free per years to publish free. So that's how it works. There are a lot of story. He said, so there will be a lot of, you know, like he said before, 15% of the journal papers rejected before the agency. That's why you have to do this. We call it them in English the due diligence means you have to be before submit. Before submit, you have to do the similarity index of the journal required about 20%, makes 50. If they require 50, make 10%. Because this software isn't software you can set the similarity detection level, two-word level, character level, sentence level, paragraph level. So that's it. It's seated by I don't know. You can have access You have B, for example, they find similarity index 20%, but still process in the paper. But his paper 15, they rejected. Why? That's very important. The total, you have the total reject 20% similarity, and the other 15% similarity. They not accept, they give it to the process. 20% give the process, and 15% directly rejected. Why? Because this 20% for the total, and for the references we have 5%. The first reference is 5%. The second reference is 4 percentage. So there is similarity for two references, many similarity for two references. However, for this, even they accepted. Sorry, I repeat again: 20% in process and 15% reject. Why? Because the similarity, this index similarity for the total, 20% accept, but there is reference, the reference similarity 1%, up 2%. But in 15% there is a big similarity. There is 5% for the first reference, 4%. So they reject it. Okay, I hope that it's clear. I explain it good. So that's very, very important that you should see the total reference, the total similarity, and the references that you take. You take it, copy paste. It should be less. So that's very important to understand. So, but we have to do, we give another, sometimes they say this accept, this reject, out of scope, and got similarity index high, poor English, so the editor will reject it directly without telling you the reason. They only in one line, reject. Okay, he cannot say it. There is a similarity, there is poor English, there is out of scope, the references are not good, you didn't accept, you didn't respect what you didn't accept the guidelines. So that's very important. So that's it. And the associate professor cannot reject the papers, cannot make a decision. Only the editor-in-chief will make a decision. The associate editor and the guest editor, they make recommendations. So editor can reject and then can make it in process. So this is the role of editor and associate editor. Usually when the paper is to the reviewer process, he said, Professor Mikhailov, I send an email to my student, congratulations. Yes, for him, congratulations, because they go to the process, the reviewing process. So why? Because that's the objective. You have what's the objective? You know, of submission to the top journal. Why we are going to publish in the top journal, have top reviewers, and top reviewers give top comments, and good comments. It means that the work is interesting and good quality. Why are you publishing in top journal? That's the impact. That's the secret of his work. You should work in the top journal. You should publish in the top journal. You have to do this. If you finish this, send you commendation and tell you there is no originality, there is no English, poor English, there is no forma, you didn't respect the guide of authors, you didn't respect the template, there is no references, don't submit to this journal. Top journals give you top comments, give you ideas, give you top reviewers, give good ideas. It means that a good job and good quality. They can give you even they reject it. They will give you constructive comment to improve. Low rank journal doesn't have good reviews. So if they make 1 year and your PhD, then you have to be very good editor. They have editors. They have what call APE or KPS, impact factor. KPS it means key performance indicators. So they want to measure as what is performance as in event. One is the impact factor. Second one, what's the second one? How long it takes me to the editor to process a paper. For example, in his journal in Power Electronics, now it takes 28 days only. He has to make a decision on the paper within 20 days, because that's how he can attract a good paper. Because if editor doesn't process the paper within a short time, he will lose good papers. So most of the journals now, which I know, usually takes between 6 to 8 weeks up to 10 weeks maximum. So to make a decision on the first submission. Let me tell you one thing he said. Professor Mikhailov shared with us because it's important. He said, "You are professor, you are supervisor." Maybe he said, "I had a PhD student, working on electronic photovoltaic, if I remember, the reviewer, and then do the work, start going, and then they prepare a paper. We go dot 1, dot 2, dot 4, drop 5. He told he has no comments. He has no further comments processed and submit. He asked him a question. I told him, I told him, the address. You publish in this paper, and this is the job of a professor. He told him that, and you should publish in Transaction of Electronics journal, number 1 in the world, he said. So the student tell him it will be rejected, and then I not get my PhD, because the student we look to the results like this. So he said you can't fail. PhD finished, will be finished. That's how he looks. Now I told him, can you submit another journal? The next paper that they submit, because they just want to do it. That's the address you should publish. So Professor Mikhailov would go to submit. Next day come again, Professor, I thought you can't. My paper rejected. You want to tell me this, something else. You want to discuss another topic, and the next paper he want to submit. Then he go, I thought you have already submit. Can you remove my name and send it to whatever you want? This professor, this is the job of professor. Send it when you want, in your mother journal, in your father journal. He said that. So he told to the student to remove my name and send it what you want. So he did submit the paper 1 month, 2 months and a half. They cut the report. When they submit transaction journal, they have a limit pages of 8 pages. You have to put the paper within 8 pages, and 1 line more rejected, 1 word more rejected. this is one the critically. He told you not more than 8 pages. Then came the paper rejected. So you know what happened. So student comes to him in his office. His face is red, and he said, I told you why I've been rejected. I told you it will be rejected. He said, Professor Mikhailov, I am sorry, I am busy now. Actually, I cannot speak with you. Even that he was not busy, but he said it. So because this person is very angry and you cannot talk to him, that he can't understand. The brain does not work. He is already meant sad. As professor, he said, as you are professor, you should know your student. You should understand the mentality of your students, how they think. You can't discuss because the person is angry. Not as you are and your wife. When he's angry, when you fit, you have to pull off. You have to pull off. You know, otherwise something will happen big, and you will be regret after that. You have to pull off. Even you are right, you should pull off. Let's think. Let's calm down. Then he said, I am busy now. Sorry. He has got. Can you come next week? I see why you come. I see. I am very busy this week. Come next week. He sleeps. Wake up. Sleep. Wake up. Take a shower a few times next week. So he finished. You know. We'll come down. He come down. You know. And he comes again 1 week later, different person. So already he said, I told you about the paper. I said, he told him that I am very proud of you. Supervisor told him, I am very proud of your work. You have done a good work. I am very happy of your work, and I am proud of you. So he speak with me, the student astonished. He speak with me or with another person. Investing work. Just stay. Look at. We get a common 9 pages. Common 8 pages. Reviewers wrote 9 pages. 6 reviewers. Each reviewers wrote page and a half. What does it mean? That means it's very interesting work. Just stay work to tell something look good. They can just write 2 lines and that's not good work. Okay, that means it's very interesting. People like help more than what we submit 8 pages, and reviewers comments 9 pages. So that's even that is rejected. So the answer that the editor asks reviewers, that's their options. Maybe we have some area why they rejected. Maybe reviewers have other ideas. So we should improve this work. Let's read. Can you please select the most 2 positive reviewer, because in reviewer they have a range, right? Some positive, some okay, some negative, something bad, you know. So I think that's the most positive one. I already started the first sentences, and then very interesting work. So however, there has an opinion. So he told to the student, could you fix these comments in the paper in 2 weeks? He said, yes, I can. So he should know how to select his bright student. So he said, as you are supervisor and you are professor, you should select the bright student. So we're competing with the world. You know, we are not competing with yourself, with someone in the world. You're competing with in the world, not alone. So this is a good research. Then good ideas. You can whatever you want. I see submit where submit this address, the same address, and resubmit the paper after fix recommendation and mistakes. So what else? Professor Mikhailiev said, as you are professor and you are supervisor of PhD students, you have to be able to see you can't demote the work of your students. If you see there is a potential, you have to push it in the quality to the good place. And our job to challenge our students becomes, there are different level of student quality. So the good, the average, they are above average, good, certain below average. We should bring them to the average, and the average will be, we bring them up to be above average, and above average to be a good, and a good student to be excellent, and also good excellent. We challenge them to give them the impossible to do. Yes, you can't try it with your student like this, you work like this, the same, because they are different levels. Someone who is very excellent, why not challenge you to the impossible, and you can do excellent work. So this is how it works, and how he see top reviewers. He select the top reviewers to be a good top journal, to be a good work. How they select, they get top reviewers for the defense PhD student. We get top give you a good comments, 9 comments, 9 pages. So then we went to submit his thesis to get a defense PhD thesis. He went to appoint examiner in our university. He said in his university. So in his university, as he said, our university. I mean, so you must. Two examiner should be must be outside of the country, and they must be from the university which is ranked better than his university. So these are the rules. This is the policy of his university. It should be the top one. So you can select other people from outside, but the condition they must be from better than his university. But sometimes the university is good, is not better than his university, but the professor is very well known, so he is famous. So you can provide a justification. You should justify why you select this reviewer or this examiner. So he select number one in the world. He said the number one Professor X, I don't remember the name, and my role model to be the examiner of my student. And he select also someone from MIT. So if I remember, Professor Williams, he got PhD with distinction, and excellent PhD, and as supervisor he feels very well and proud with his of his student, and finally the student gets his PhD, and that's how it works outside.